What's up, my pilots? Angry Poncho here. Welcome back to 2024 Four Pillars of the Fourth Survival. Uh, Figured I'd give you an old-fashioned greeting today because if you're this far into the series, you're probably a longtime fan, so you've heard it before. Alright, in today's episode, I want to start off by making a time lapse. So, firstly, I figured out in a creative world what I want my first few floors of this base to look like. So I want to put those together and do a little speed up video of it. And if you want to follow along, this is the amount of stuff that you need to do one of these floors. I think I've got this math right. It's a little bit weird. The floor is made with 2 layers of half slabs because I wanted you to be able to look down and up and see the same color of wood. But the game won't let you put 2 different kinds of slabs inside one voxel. So the floor has to be like offset by a half voxel. So like one layer will be in the bottom half of this one and the other will be in the top half of this one. So it's a little bit weird, but I think it'll come together pretty well, and I think it looks pretty nice too. I'm hoping that the different woods and things work out as I hope. But without further ado, let's get to building. Well, I seem to have misunderestimated the number of slabs I would need. I don't know how my math was off by so much, but I'm going to have to double check in my creative world. I'm pretty sure I built it the right size. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I should have had enough slabs to go around the whole top, but yeah, a little bit weird. So this is one layer done. Once I fill in all these slabs. Basically, everywhere there's a slab on the ground, or a block on the ground here, there should be a slab above. And then the next layer of slabs is going to go on top of this one. Let me make sure I pick these up. It took a while to harvest all these mangrove slabs. Definitely the most annoying tree to work with. So for the next level, we're just going to repeat this basically. But I actually need to add a bit of the next level before I can add the rest of the first level, because I have a bunch of fences left, and most of these fences are going to be hanging under here from the wood type of the next level. So I don't know how many slabs I actually need for each of these, but before I do the rest of this time lapse, I'm going to go figure that out and collect the rest of the necessary wood materials. Because I quite like how this looks. I think it's got good texture. It has a nice difference in the way things look. The slight height elevations on the edges are nice, especially because making it step up before the fence means that you can get a completely unobstructed view and look out into the world without having to like peer through holes in a fence, you know. And then once these slabs are in place, I think this is a nice high ceiling. It doesn't feel claustrophobic at all underneath here. And then we just repeat every layer after this. It may be, I have 4 logs left over. So I may have to check in my super flat world where I'm testing this in creative. It may be that I intended for the 4 pillars on the ends to be 1 block higher. So maybe this slab ceiling should actually be even higher than it is, but I think it would work fine here because it's, I mean, the fences would essentially be at that height up top. And I think that's plenty of room. You can still see clearly out the windows. So I think this is probably the height. Oh, no. I remember why they're all a block higher. The dirt. For any level where I want to put dirt in, I need to make the whole thing 1 block taller. Just because if I'm going to have a farm or something or a pasture in one of these quadrants, that's going to raise the floor up by 1.5 blocks. So I need that extra bit of ceiling height because otherwise the ceiling is this low and that's way too close. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna knock this down and then figure out how many slabs I actually need for one of these, and then we'll get back to it after I've gathered an ass load more wood. Okay, I have finished up this roof bit for the next layer. So here's what the final version of one of the floors is going to look like. And I'm quite happy with it. I think it's just big enough to have room for like chests and things over on one side. It's got enough height that you can really look out the windows and have lots of space to see what's around. It doesn't feel closed in. But it also has fences, so you literally can't jump out and fall to your death. I also did the roof part, so as you can see, these are half slabs, and those are slabs too. And as a result, you get to look up and down and see the same color of wood. But up here, one of the first things we're going to do is put another layer of slabs on top of this. And you can see this is a full layer right here. So this is like a full block. And then the top of that is the same. So when we build things in these spaces, they're going to have to be on top of individual slabs. That will kind of put them on like raised footers, which I think actually looks pretty good because if you look around your house, it's hard to find furniture that isn't on a footer. Like your TV stand probably has a couple inches at the bottom where there's just nothing. It's just legs and empty space. And that's basically what those like half slabs underneath chests and things are going to end up looking like. Or if you go to like your kitchen cabinets, you know, there's a reason that those don't go all the way to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the other camera and we can do a time lapse of the next level because I went back and recalculated how much is actually needed, and this is a more accurate amount. So let's do it. This time with dark oak. All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, this is what we got. I'm pretty happy. I think it came together really quickly because I'd already gathered all the materials. I was able to follow my little paper blueprint I made pretty easily, and I'm pleased with how it looks. I think that this lighting will be sufficient to keep mobs from spawning in this area. Pretty sure. Although I'm starting to think that they don't spawn in the void anyway because I've not had a single mob spawn outside of the spawners, which makes me really glad that I decided to put them in rather than trying to make like a standard mob grinder. It's interesting now. So now you see the benefit of using those half slabs. This floor, you get that red color scheme, top and bottom. But then when you come up here, you can see you switch. And now you get the brown color scheme, top and bottom, without having to use a whole block for each. It's just a half block on the little border between two spaces. So, boom. The second floor is now done. And the rest of, I think the third floor is going to go exactly the same way. So I'll probably skip ahead and do that off camera. But then the higher floors, I think I'm going to need to make larger circles. I may have them match the outer circle out there. Let me go down and we can take a look real quick here. But I'm pretty pleased with this. Oh, side note. Earlier on when I had the dirt platform here. Oh, also, side note. I added extra planks to the lowest level here to give it another like layer of depth, and then I used full stone here to give that another little layer. That way it actually looks like there's like structural members going on down here, you know. I think it turned out pretty well. Oh, and I added these 4 pillars, which I'm sure you noticed now, line up with where the 4 pillars. Hello, camera guy. He's just chilling up there because I accidentally set the mode to creative instead of spectator, so I can see his ass. Anyway, back to the first side note. I was back when I had this dirt platform here. I realized that a piece of it was missing, and I started looking around, and I found an Enderman standing over here, holding a grass block. And at first, I was pissed because he was griefing my base. Then I realized he actually had done me a huge favor, so I murdered him and took the grass block. So thanks for the free silk touch, Mr. Enderman. So now we have a backup source of grass. So if we want to make a new grass location like really far from the 4 blocks of grass that are still sitting up there, we don't have to try and do like a really long grass bridge. Although I think I will probably end up bridging this out and then doing like a spiral that goes up and then bridging it into whatever floors need grass. Just to keep that one extra block as a last case resort of, I don't know, in case somehow like a creeper blew these 4 up or something. Who knows? Because once there's no grass, you no longer have grass in your world. It doesn't come back from regular old dirt. All right, you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. And I think that the way that the upper fences hang down and block the view just a tiny bit at the top just gives you that like extra layer of, there it is, you know? The one thing that this base really doesn't have, that I haven't really considered all much, is how it looks from far away, because that doesn't really matter. I mean, we're going to be in, on, or right next to it most of the time. So if it just looks like a big cylinder, I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, you're not supposed to be over here anyway, so you don't see the horrible cobblestone going on underneath. Oh, you may have also noticed I mined out the overland resources pillar, just the one that had all the dirt and stuff in it. So we do have some... Where did I put it, though? Oh, you know what? I can wear the butter hat. Boom. I put it somewhere around here. Yeah. So we have 36 granite, andesite, and diorite, and then about 110 or so cobbled deep slate. I don't know what I can do with any of this other than like using it for decorating, so we'll see. Got a couple stacks of clay too, so I can make some red bricks. Maybe we'll eventually do like an accent. We'll like swap some of these out and do like a ring of red or something. I don't think it's enough to build anything big out of, but it'll definitely make a good accent spot. And we have flint and a bunch of gravel. I think I lost 1 piece of gravel as it fell. That's why it's an odd number there. But other than that, I was able to grab the whole pillar. No worries. We already grabbed all of the sand and the dirt from that pillar, so now there's a bunch more of that here. We'll stick that over there. The overland resources pillar. Yeah. So back to the main point I was going to say, I actually had to move my cobblestone generator. It's now over here. Although I haven't used it much lately because I've been working mostly in wood, and I got ahead of myself and mined a whole bunch of stone. But it is still working over here. I had to move it because when I was building this first layer to see how I like the sizing, it was sitting, where was it? Yeah, right over there. And it lit the fucking house on fire. And I didn't think that would happen because the lava has blocks on all sides of it. but apparently it spontaneously like heated up, and these slabs started burning. Luckily, I noticed what was going on, and I ran over and started smacking them with my bare hands to put them out. I wasn't recording at the time, or I would have included a clip of me freaking out. But here's a dramatic reenactment. I was up here like counting these blocks to try and figure out how many I needed for the next layer, and then I was like, oh, here's something burning. Like what? Why does it sound like the? Oh my god! And I'm just fucking slapping the ground until the fire goes out, and then I jumped down there and immediately put the lava back in a bucket. So I've now relocated it, and I think it has a good spot now. So over there is the fountain, which I'm still really pleased with that little design. It's just a cute little thing, but it's nice to have to celebrate our permanent water source. And directly across from the fountain is the lava source, the cobblestone generator. So those two just now are kind of like the yin and yang on the base on opposite sides like that. On this fourth side, where there's now no longer any pillars, oh yeah, this is my temporary lava storage bucket, so I could use our only bucket to move the water as well. There's no pillars over there anymore. It's just up empty air, so just space. Space. The final frontier. And then this side we still have, unfortunately, this horrible, ugly cobblestone path that leads over to the resources. I'm not going to be gathering those, I don't think, until I get something with fortune. So we'll have to go down and get 1 diamond to make an enchanting table. But before we can make the enchanting table, we have to use our 12 obsidian to go to the nether. And then when we come back from the nether, we can pick up the obsidian with a diamond pick. So I guess we'll have to use 4 diamonds before we can make an enchanting table and actually get looting, hopefully. I'll also need to figure out a way to get experience. So honestly, I might just not. I might just mine the pillar sooner rather than later. But I do want to finish building this this house first, this tower, because I think it's going to look really cool. And I'm not going to time-lapse the next floor because it'll be the same. But I may do the one after that. I guess you'll just have to wait and see. Either way, once it's built, rather, I'm eager to start filling it in. So we've got farms and villagers and storage and all kinds of stuff that I want to put in there. So maybe now that you've seen a little time-lapse of what this design looks like and how I'm building it, maybe we'll just skip ahead till when it's done, eh? Okay, it's done. But before I turn around and show it to you, I've inserted a dramatic pause. There she is, in all her circular, layered glory. It ended up looking a lot more like a cake than I originally thought, but I kind of like it. I like the lower levels quite a bit that are hidden by the trees, and there's just these platforms in the forest. It reminds me of like Endor or something. And then the upper levels, the color palette really shifts and becomes like cakey. And from far away, yeah, it looks like it's fairly well constructed. You know, it's got these big stone beams that are like going out in the directions and holding everything up. And I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go take an interior tour, huh? So basically the basement level here, beneath the mangrove floor. And then we have the mangrove floor, which you've already seen. This is done. Going up to dark oak. I think this might be my favorite of the lower floors. It's so dark and spooky. I think I might have to make this like the bedroom floor, just like chilling out type floor. And then we have spruce, which is a nice mid-tone. And at this point, I think this is the best floor for looking off the side and like seeing the trees and stuff down below. And they kind of block the edge of the platform down there a bit and make things quite nice. I think for a skyblock world, it's become pretty comfy. Up to the next floor, this is where they begin to increase in size. So the next 3 floors are all this big, which I think is a pretty substantial size. This is the oak floor, obviously. And from this level up, you're less interested in looking out over the side and more interested in just knowing that, like, it's safe. So that's why the fence goes all the way around. But it does have these half slabs, so you can walk right up to it and look over if there's something you want to see down in the distance or something. Try to keep in mind what the space would be like on a non-skyblock world too. And I've done my best to make things, to put some detail in. The wrapped logs with fences and half slabs, I think, gives a nice like ring effect that keeps the room from looking too empty. And flat, the stone accents going out in the 4 cardinal directions are carried through the entire construction. And then with strategic use of some staircases, this actually, it doesn't even look like it from afar, but these are all stairs. They just line up, so it looks like shifting from one level to the next. But these are all stairs along here, and that's what lets you get this nice like quarter block thing around the pillars. So they look like they're really built into the structure like that without having full blocks surrounding them. So I'm quite happy with that. All I've put into these floors right now is just a crafting table behind the ladder. As far as ladders go on like the movement method, it's not ideal, but it works. And it's very compact, so I think we're going to stick with it. The birch floor, very similar to the oak floor, except with different wood varietals. And as you can see, I've continued the ceiling matching the floor trend. That got a little bit trickier when we got to these, if I can, yeah, when we got to these middle floors, because the half slab heights didn't actually work out like I wanted, and I ended up having to do, check this out. There's an air gap in between all these floors, so I guess if you pay extra, you can put insulation in there. You could fill this in, like I could have used planks for this top layer and there wouldn't have been an air gap, but, or actually I guess it would be planks for this bottom layer because the full stone is this connected bit. But in any case, you never see it, but it does have the interesting effect of letting light filter through. And you can see how it changes when you put the slabs in. I don't fully understand how that works, but there it is. And then before I go up to the top floor, and I just gave away myself. I got sick of farming trees. I ended up giving myself a few stacks of logs at the end there because I decided at the last minute to change how I wanted these outer log rings to look. I had previously had planks in these corner spots, and I didn't like that. So, and you may notice there's subtle differences between each floor, but this one keeps pretty much the same style as the oak floor. Now that it is properly night, we can go up into the cherry grove. And this is definitely my favorite floor. It is, I mean, just hang on. Take that screenshot real quick. It is just so nice up here, man. It is just like, it's like a secret garden. I love it. And this floor has some different features as well. Besides being made of cherry wood, I've went ahead and filled it up with cherry trees, cherry blossom trees. I think they're wonderful. I love this particle effect. And I used andesite for the stone here because I thought the gray didn't quite work. So I switched to the lighter whitish stone. The edges don't have half slabs because this is the very top. You don't want to look off from here, you know? You get that fear of heights going on. I've done my best to hide torches up in the branches of the trees so that when you're in the center of the room, it just looks like they're lighting themselves up, and you don't really see where the light's coming from. There's no torches like sitting around down here. The particle effects, I did the fence twice as high. Honestly, just, this is my favorite floor, and it's not even close. I have no idea what I'm going to put up here. I think I might just make it decorative. I might try and do some like furniture or something down here. I'm not entirely sure. I might put some potted plants or something, make it like a little garden. That might be what I'll do, is make it a garden. In any case, I'm really happy with this floor, and it gives me so, I'm wearing these horrible broken armors I got from zombies. It just gives me so, like, I want to relax in here, you know? This is one of those video game spaces where you would just, like, sit and hang out. Like NCS used to say, it's like, oh, I want to go take a nap there. It's up there with like Zora's Domain in terms of what a tranquil space. And considering we started in possibly like one of the most stressful starting maps of just a block in the void, the fact that we're now close to having this kind of sanctuary is so awesome. I didn't even plan for the moon to line up like that when I came up. That was just perfect. So fucking beautiful. I got a new desktop wallpaper out of that. Don't be surprised if that's the thumbnail of this video. I ain't even been doing thumbnails for this series. I might put that one in this one. I love it. So, in terms of future plans, I think the lower floors, we're going to do like sleeping area, storage area, workshop area. And then the top three, there's going to be a villager area, mob farms like the friendly mobs, and then also crop farms. I might put the animals on the same floor as the crops to make more room for the villagers, or I don't know exactly what it'll end up being. But in the next video, we're going to fill this tower up with stuff because we've got a bunch of spawn eggs to spawn. Chickens, pigs, cows, and sheep. So we're going to have to make lots of room for different colored wool. Maybe we can even put some carpets in there and make it look nicer. We'll have 8 villager eggs to hatch to build a little villager trading hall, breed them together and make more. And then we'll just include all the rest of this stuff and figure out, we'll find somewhere nice for our cauldron and everything else. And we'll get this house, we'll turn this house into a home. And I looked up the recipe for lanterns, and I was disappointed to find that they require iron. I thought they just used paper, but oh well. Because I really think that they would look better than torches, and I want to have lanterns hanging from some of these wooden fences that are on the underside here. There's another subtle difference with the undersides of these that you may or may not notice, that the fences are a block in on this lowest level, and then they're out on the far edges on the high levels. And it just creates a slightly different look for that one floor where the floor is small but the ceiling is big. And that would be the spruce floor. So it's pretty cool. That's the one where I want to have the lanterns hanging, so I brought them in a little closer. I'm really happy with this build. I think this is going to be a great place to work from. And once we get this place filled in, we can start doing some more adventurous stuff, like going to the Nether and collecting all the resources from there, and then heading off to the dragon. This will probably end up being a pretty short series because I can't really do all the stuff that I want to do on a Skyblock world. I want to go out into the world and see all the new biomes that are introduced, and find a witch hut and like all the other crazy things they've added, like monuments and mansions and those ruined portals, and there's all these new biomes and creatures, and apparently there's goats that will ram you in the ankles, and they're obviously they're not around here. So there'll be another Minecraft series after this one where I actually go and do all the new stuff that's out in the world now, and ooh, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to actually remember how mechanics work and learn the new ones too. All right, next time we fill in the cake house. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you then.